Good day, everybody, and everybody watching. My name is Thabo Mthembu, the TM facilitator and the outdoor host for the day. And today we're actually out here in Soshanguve Block X in the community hall, whereby we have one of our members who's clearly gonna introduce himself later on. But then today is more of mental health awareness. So we're actually engaging in an event whereby it's actually based on everything mental health, since we're still on Mental Health Awareness Month. So thank you very much, Minier, for coming. Just a short introduction, and then we just go forward with it.
All right. No, thank you for having me. Ngegama is Mpho, author for Men and Mass, and then director for Confessions of a Man. So we are an NGO that deals with men's mental health issues, where we create a safe space for men and allow them to come in a space whereby they can, break the silence. And then we're not doing it in terms of allowing men to be judged, but we are trying to create a safe space, a peaceful space for both men and women to reflect in, and then they can come together. But particularly allowing men to speak, as we are well aware that there's a whole lot of platforms for women to talk,
Oh yes,
but
yes.
for men it's always,
Men should keep it in. Men don't talk
exactly,
about it, and then yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but then now I hear that you're an author. That's very nice, and I heard that there's a book that you wrote about. Quickly take us through that information. Like, how did you write it? How did it come about for you to write it? And what can we expect from that book?
So, yo, my guy, it took me like 5 years to, yeah, it's a very informative book, mostly about what the real man is going through. We've done interviews, we've spoken to different men in different aspects of life, different age groups, and then we've been having a name for the book, but then as we listen to men sharing their stories, and then we realize we need to have a title that resonates to every man across all boards. So the title of the book is called Men and Mass.
Okay,
you know
okay.
so, and then we also love the layout of the book, where it allows a face of a man taking off a mask to
Oh,
show
nice,
to show that most men, we hide behind a lot of things, and most of the time, which is very funny to the communities, most men hide behind pain.
Exactly, and we don't actually, us as men, we don't actually showcase our emotions. We don't even have a man-to-man conversation talking about that.
It's hard, it's hard, because remember, the stigma is not just about the communities, but between me and you as a brother. Are you safe enough to speak to me, and then I listen to you without passing aspersions or judging you in some way? Because naturally, this thing of, you need to man up, you need to be strong, you need to be, man, be bold, man,
bold,
indoor,
indoor,
man. Why are
yes,
you
yes.
crying? So it has created a gap.
Oh,
It has created a huge gap amongst men. And then the funny thing, or the sad thing, is that this gap doesn't not only cast out men, but it destroys communities, it destroys marriages, it destroys childhood dreams, because men, as much as we might not want to admit it,
yes.
but they play the most vital key role in building a society. And then if those people are neglected, and then we allow certain aspects of life whereby we find men leading in fear, we find men living in pain, we find men leading in chaos, and then what's the result of those things?
Okay.
A broken society.
It's a broken society. Okay, so judging by how you're actually briefing out each and everything, it's all based on how do men should resemble everything. Now let's actually take it back a little bit from a boy-child perspective.
Sure.
So from a boy-child perspective, it's more like boys would wanna go out and actually experiment, would wanna experience on their own, would wanna go through their pain. So how would that book actually channel them to being the rightful men that they actually expected to be?
So I've I've grown up in a family where I've seen my father, being, as it should be, the provider,
Yes.
in the family, and then you grow up as a boy, and then you look at this man, because honestly speaking, I was fortunate enough that I had a present father in my life whom I had to look up to, but the book itself, it also allows young boys who do not have a male or father figure in their immediate presence, immediate presence, we talk about home, as much as there's men out there or community whom a young boy could learn from, but
Yes.
initially from your escapades, you need to go back to a set foundation, this is the rules tse re di beang ka mo ntlong,
Okay.
this is how you need to adjust as a man. But another thing that we always find it difficult is the issue of raising a boy child versus what culture says and what culture expects into a boy. We also speak about that, the
Okay.
challenges of culture. How do culture maneuver or contribute in raising Wanamshiman?
Okay.
You look at a lot of aspects like no, particularly for young boys in the boy childhood,
Yeah.
there are boys who are expected or how you come in, you are not men enough.
Oh yes, yes,
You
yes.
get that.
There's a lot
It's
of
an
that.
element of culture. So when you say nanka si coming at rather go or docting to other boys like no man oswaka when you are weak, you are defying culture.
While they know the mostly like the clinical part of it, whereby the healthy part of it, like there are not a lot of health risk within it. So yeah,
Yes.
okay, I really understand that. Okay, so going and emerging it with today's event, how can we actually spread the message to such events so that they can be aware of what's actually happening, because there are stigmas around it. There are people who are actually neglected from it. There are people who don't actually have father figures. There are people who have bad role models. How can they actually shape or shift away from such mentalities?
I think it starts with me and you now having this conversation. The question would be, as a society, are we honest and open enough to talk about such discussions? The reality is, and then wait hangata we re rata ho dilute nnete when we start comparison.
Oh yes,
Ne?
yes, yes.
When you start saying things and then somebody comes and says marau, and that's what makes this whole thing or such events to be important.
Oh yes.
So, for us to have such an invitations and such events, for me, it should not be one of things.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
As much as we've dedicated a month of October as a mental month awareness, but my guy, truth be told, every single morning you wake up, your mind is like challenged.
Yes.
Like, especially as a young person in this economy, as a young boy in this economy, there's unemployment, there's crime, there's a whole
A
lot of
lot of
things
things,
that
including some of them can even dwell into substances due to the information that they give each other, and that's actually bad information.
the pressure ailing thing. So, but you look at how life is going, you look at how we appreciate, bad things run faster than good things.
Oh,
And then there's a quote that says, "When the wise are silent, the fools are louder."
I hope, can you please repeat that so that people can get it?
When the wise are silent,
Yes.
the fools are louder. So that is the true reflection of our society. What am I saying? You grow kokasi. I grow from social jubilee.
Okay.
I go to school, I get things done, keva right my life. You know what's the first thing that I desire? To get out of the hood. So now I declare myself as a wise man, but I live the territory that made me who I am,
Ooh.
and then I feel like this no longer fits me.
Okay.
And then we go out. So Kokasi Husalabo man, who becomes role model for this other young boys batang.
I really love that. I really love that. So it actually shows that even whether, despite any community you're coming from, you still can have an impact. Whether it's known to be a bad community with bad things that are happening within it, but then you can be that one advocate of change. You're actually saying that.
That's basically what I'm saying. It's a bad community because of us.
Yes.
And then why am I substituting myself from there? Because I am the system of Jugulane. I am a product of Jugulane. I grew up here, right?
Yes.
And then I'm like, hey, I'm an author. I can't stay with Jugulane. I've got a master's degree. I'm running a company.
Yeah.
Jugulane is not good for me. Now the question is, For Jubilant to be called this thing, it's because of who? It's because of us. So I personally say this to people. You go out, you venture more life, and you become blessed to become a better version of yourself. Let's go back Kokash, or not even leave Kasi.
Yeah.
Let's become the role model smokers. The reason we call one foot you know why? Because whenever no batuba salang Kokasi. Kiboma. And then all these young boys, they look up to those people and say, Maras Fiso Upila go shopong yamakula wanwa watuwa. It doesn't matter a day.
Those are the type of role models that they look at.
They look at.
So the type of role models that they look at, if good role models actually leave the hood, as you actually say, that means the hood will be remaining with bad ones. So the bad one will be involving
Now
and also
that is why the cycle of their crime has failed. Like every day there's a new boy who's been initiated into crime. Because of why? Koka sirishile bale bawuzola. Bawuzola ka batho. Rona re re now nya go zuwa ka. But I personally feel change starts with you as a person. So once you tell yourself or it starts with me, and then how do I mold? So if professional young people can say, guys, let's not leave the hood. I mean, let's try and change life here in the hood, and then the mindset to change.
Okay.
You know, it's easier like that. So yeah, man, it's yeah.
Okay,
The thing is, sorry. The thing is, like I said,
yes.
eventually when you start saying these things, they make sense. But somebody comes, can comparison, and they dilute.
Ish.
Now we degrade or we digress. We're no longer talking about the real issue.
Okay.
The issue go to Mokas, the role model.
And
Let's
it's more like
face
they're
the fact.
sugarcoating it now.
Yeah, it's like and it's not about that. What's the pressure, a young boy can check? They want to drive a car. They want to drive a Golf 7. They want to date a beautiful
They
girl.
wanna have money.
They wanna have money.
Yes.
But people willing Mokas, give over man by having Zaka, but driving beautiful cars. How
Okay.
do Lele Braya na career yan sharp? As initiation,
Oh, plus the influence.
the influence.
My God. Okay.
By talent. So most of these boys they got in unaware because they were chasing the glamour, they were chasing the good life.
Going back to the book, so it seems like this book will actually play a role with a lot of young men because I feel like it's actually building them to actually mature as a young person, to actually be known as a good civilized citizen within their community. So where can they get this book?
So the book is currently in printing now. So we will have it on Take a Lot, and then we will have an online platform whereby you can order the book and then you get it delivered. And then yeah, so but it's currently in printing. It should go on sale in mid-November, December. It should go out on sale by then. So just to say this, so the book is a component of the boy child,
Okay.
the young man,
Okay.
and then the married man.
Ooh.
So it caters
It comes
all
with
those
a lot of elements.
exactly
Okay.
all of those elements whereby from your early stages as a boy child you come into the youth space, and then from a youth space you go to being a married person whereby you are now raising a boy child yourself.
That's a book that people actually need, especially male, to be specific. So, to a person who will be watching right now, they'll be actually intrigued to know about you and where can they get your social media handles just to actually follow you.
So we are on Facebook under Confessions of a Man, and then I can also share our WhatsApp line. We also have a WhatsApp group for men whereby we create dialogues for men on a regular basis, and then quarterly basis we meet as men, we try and talk, allow men to come in their camp chairs, wear your soccer t-shirt, have soccer dates, and then men can watch soccer, and then we discuss, and outside of that space. And then there are sessions whereby we allow a man to bring his boy child into the space, and then as part of the conscience of a man, you are allowed. It's a principle, it's a policy. You need to mentor one person, be it your son or be it a stranger, but you need to mentor a one boy child.
And I love that element because, like, the elders actually bring in now the young person. It's more like the elders are planting a seed within the young people that they're actually being invited.
Definitely.
Okay, any more words that you can say to the people that were actually viewing?
So this is for men. I would Let's say it's okay to say I've had enough. It's okay to say I'm tired.
Yes.
It's okay to say, hey man, I can't do this.
Enough is enough.
Enough
Or
is
where
enough.
can I get help? I need
I need
assistance
help.
towards
So
this.
it's
Yes.
okay to cry. It's okay for you as a man to want to be around people, and it's okay to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable doesn't mean you are weak. Feel vulnerable, it means you are seeking for help, and the people needs to start interpreting that as a man who wants help, not as a weak man. These things of men up, those are wrong words that creating a divisions amongst men and the community.
Thank you very
Because
much.
in a nutshell, when a man is broken, the community suffers.
Thank you very much. I think you've heard it all. That's a couple, and it's overfilling right now. There's a lot of information that we can receive. As you said, what are the handles that people can get you from?
They can find us on Facebook, and then we also have a WhatsApp line is 065
Uh,
544 8747.
as you actually heard, coming from me, Thabo Mthembu, the outdoor host, doing the most. It's a wrap.